Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam, this is Enduring Daddy, where we talk about all things being a geek, being a dad, being an endurance athlete. And today, my new MacBook Pro has arrived. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Enduring Daddy, I'm Adam. Today is a big day. Today, the new computer's arrived. This is my MacBook Pro. This is an unboxing of my MacBook Pro. Right guys, as I said before, this is an unboxing of the new 14-inch MacBook Pro. Take the plastic wrapper off it. Today is the 1st of November. Official launch and release was on the 26th. I placed this order as soon as the launch event had finished and it became available in the store in the UK, and it arrived this morning. Now obviously this comes in the sturdy and incredible quality packaging that Apple are renowned for. This is the 14-inch model. It is the base M1 Pro chip, but I did add one additional upgrade which I will talk to a little later on in the video, so ensure you stick around for that. So that is the laptop. It's fairly weighty. It feels pretty heavy in comparison to my current 2018 MacBook Pro 13-inch. Obviously, that reversion back to the MagSafe USB-C charging cables, which is fantastic, and actually it's got quite a nice braided edge cable. I'm not sure if you can see that on the GoPro there, but that cable is really nice quality, not like the old standard rubber cables that came with the previous MacBook Pro models. Have a look at that in a bit more detail shortly. All of your paperwork, which we can go through at a later date when we've got some more time. The 3-pin charging adapter and the block as well. And then 3-pin plug just slots on there just like that. So let's get this unwrapped. So it feels really nice, feels really solid. It's a lot squarer than the old MacBook Pros, and there's that nice embossed MacBook Pro labelling on the bottom. Obviously, as I'm sure you would have already heard, you've got the MagSafe charging, 2 USB-C ports and a 3.5mm jack, another USB-C port. The HDMI has been brought back, as has the SD card reader, which is fantastic for anybody who is making or creating content for online consumption. So let's get that open. There's that beautiful screen. So obviously from a keyboard standpoint, the older MacBook Pro had the silver metal underside of the keyboard with the black keys. This is now completely black, and Apple have taken away the touch bar, which, as you will see shortly with my current Mac, is quite problematic. So let's get this set up and have a look at how it looks running. So what I've got here is my new 14-inch and my old 13-inch MacBook Pro, and we're going to run a few tests to check quite how much better this system is than this old system. So first and foremost, let's see how quickly each system can wake out of sleep. There you go. I'm sure you can appreciate that that's significantly faster on the 14-inch version. Using Geekbench, let's first test the compute performance of each of these systems. So the 14-inch has obviously finished the test significantly faster than the 13-inch, and that's come out at a single core score of 1765 and a multi-core score, obviously taking into consideration that 10-core CPU of 12,570. The 13-inch has now finished running the test, and that's come out at a single core score of almost half that of the 14-inch and a multi-core score of 3,915 using that Intel chipset. So when we're looking at these tests, obviously taking into consideration the differences between the two, both have 16 gigabytes of RAM. The 14-inch MacBook Pro obviously has that M1 Pro 10-core CPU chip and 14-core GPU built into it, whereas the 13-inch MacBook Pro has the Intel Core i5 8259U and it's 2.3 gigahertz in speed. So there are significant differences. However, when you take into consideration that the Intel variant of the 13-inch MacBook Pro was seen to be the superior compared to the M1 Apple Silicon option, then it's apparent that it's no longer Apple Silicon is a contender. Actually, it's very much the front runner in terms of performant CPU and compute power. That's the CPU. Almost 4 times the power in this machine than this machine. So what about the graphics component? What about the GPU performance? So we'll run a metal test on both, obviously utilizing the Intel Iris Plus graphics within this one and the inbuilt M1 Pro graphics in the 14-inch option. Let's go. So once again, the 14-inch MacBook Pro has finished the test probably 3 times faster than the 13-inch, coming out at a metal score of 35,929. And there you have it, 6,752 on the Intel chipset, 35,929 on the Apple Silicon. And for the eagle-eyed of you, I'm not sure you will have noticed, but actually the 14-inch having done away with the touch bar is an absolute godsend for me, because this one has become somewhat of a strobe as it's aged. It's now almost 4 years old, this machine, and that touch bar has absolutely had it. The other thing to note is the size difference. Now, I have a cover on my 13-inch machine, and even so, it's almost a centimetre difference in height. And if we shut these two machines from a width standpoint, there's also a marginal difference there as well. So let's try opening some fairly basic applications within the two machines. So let's start with maps. It was almost instantaneous with the 14-inch version. So let's try starting something a little more labor intensive. Let's open DaVinci Resolve. So as you saw there, very much quicker on the 14-inch, and that is now open, significantly slower on the 13-inch. Let's test the audio on both these machines. Now, I've got the inbuilt speakers set to about 50%, and then we'll set the YouTube audio to full. I'm going to turn the microphone round on the camera so that you can hear exactly what it sounds like. And let's start with the 13-inch. And then the 14-inch. So I'm not sure how well you would have heard that, but actually there was significant difference in depth and dynamic range of the audio within the 14-inch machine. The 13-inch, it still sounds quite tinny. It sounds like there's a very small speaker set sat within this machine, whereas this, I genuinely believe, could be a credible alternative for your desk-based speaker system that you may have today. So obviously taking into consideration things like that when you look at potentially spending £2,000+, dollars, euros, whatever it might be, on a new laptop. To that point, I'd love to hear from you if you're considering buying one of these machines, or if you've already bought one of these machines. What do you think about it so far? What are your worries, your concerns about forking out £2,000+, dollars, euros for a system like this? So if we go into the Apple website, I can show you exactly what it was that I bought. So 14-inch, the 8-core CPU and 14-core GPU, 16 gig of memory and half a terabyte of RAM option at £1,899. Select that. I then added 2 CPU cores. So this £200 upgrade Now that gave me 8 high performance cores, and I left the 16 gig of unified memory as it was, as did I leave the ½ terabyte of SSD storage. But what that does then give you is the upgraded power adapter. So it upgrades you from the 67 watt USB-C power adapter to the 96 watt USB-C power adapter, inclusive of that £200 additional CPU upgrade. And that then came out at that £2,099. As you can see from a specification standpoint, this is exactly the model that I have been testing today. And from what you've seen, you can make your own mind up as to whether or not you think it's a worthwhile upgrade and the route that you may want to take. I love it. I absolutely love this new machine. There's very little that I don't like about it. The notch, massive contentious point for a lot of people, doesn't bother me at all. There was an instance where I had Google Chrome open and I couldn't see the menu bar across the top. It had gone white and the writing was obviously white, so I couldn't see that. Now that's something that I'm gonna have to have a fiddle with and work out whether or not changing some of the settings within the system will get rid of that issue. Again, any of you had that issue so far, stick it in the comments below. The audio is incredible. The size is negligible in terms of increase comparable to the 13-inch, but the screen is just unbelievable. The clarity of that display is worlds away from the 13-inch beforehand. And that, to me, when I first got that machine, was really, really impressive. Still early days, only a day in. So far, so good. I'm gonna cut this video up on this machine using DaVinci Resolve. So obviously I'll have some more feedback at a later date. Those of you that are new to the channel and have not yet subscribed, please do so if you feel you like what you see. If you're into endurance sport or geeky tech or fatherhood, hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, please do hit the like button. It massively helps the channel. Coming up, revamping my home studio and making it a little better for backdrop purposes for the videos that I'm creating for you. So thanks a lot for watching. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.